Hello everyone and welcome back to Xenoblade Chronicles. We're somewhere we haven't been for quite some time. We're in the Ether Mine. And no, there are no quests to wrap up here, but there are a couple of heart-to-hearts that I want to do before really moving on with, well, anything else really. The first one is through here. We have the mining base, which contains a heart-to-heart between Shulk and Sharla, entitled A Broken Watch. Come on, where is it? You okay, Sharla? Aha! Found it, my pocket watch. And more or less in one piece, more or less. It's a beautiful watch. The design is so elaborate, I've never seen one like it. So this is yours? Yes, it was my father's. He gave it to me before he died. It's nice, but why was it here? I think I dropped it when we were evacuating the colony. Otharon must have found it. I can tell he looked after it. Does it still work? No, from the looks about it, it stopped when I dropped it. I can fix it. If I could just get our hands on an ether battery, I could fix it. Really? That would be amazing, Shulk. I can fix anything, no problem. The people at Colony 9 are always coming to me to fix things. You're so kind, Shulk. You don't know how much this watch means to me. I'll never forget how happy I was when my father gave it to me. I can tell you cherish it. I hope I can make it work again. And if you need me to repair anything else, just ask. I'll let you know. Thank you, Shulk. Thank you so much. Oh, and we get an achievement, The Heart of the Matter. I believe that's for doing, I want to say 40 heart-to-hearts of the 58 or 60 something there are. There's still quite a few to go. As I say, I will be doing an entire episode of heart-to-hearts in a couple of episodes' time, and it will be probably over an hour, given the routes through them. There's some are really quick. Remember that one with Ricky and the geezer from a couple of episodes ago? That was nothing. So, but some are very heavy, like this one. So this is between, oh my god, Charlotte. They must have lost that somehow. I swear those guys had heart affinity. Well, let's crack them up. It's interesting, isn't it, looking at the difference. I can basically tell which characters I use more from what their affinity links are. I clearly use Shulk quite a lot. Ryan I use the most, and I would actually believe that. He's so handy, like, as the only real tank until you tweak Fiora, who I also use quite a lot. I can see why his affinity with everyone is so high. Melia is mixed. Dumban pretty good. I do use Dumban a lot. Fiora is pretty high considering how late in the game you get her. Sharla probably has the lowest total affinities with everyone. There's basically only 3 blue links left, which is Shulk and Melia and Sharla and Sharla and Fiora. And then Ricky, kind of, yeah, variable in my use of. It's mildly interesting. Anyway, let's start the heart-to-heart. So this is A Wistful Glow. This ether lamp, it's like the ones in Tephra Cave. You mean the ones on the route between our 2 colonies? Those would have been put there by the people from Colony 6. You learn something new every day. You see the yellow glow? That's because the lamp uses electric ether crystals. Didn't know that either. I guess some days you learn 2 new things. I do know that electric type crystals glow the brightest. Bingo! Once upon a time, replenishing the lamps with fresh ether was my job. It was my very first job, actually. I used to follow the route all the way down into the ether mine. Sounds like fun. I used to get lost when I started, but I soon got the hang of it. We used to time each other to see who could get it done the quickest. You mean you and Gado? Am I that obvious? You start talking about your older life, and I see tears. It had to be Gado. Didn't think you were even paying attention. Oi, I always pay attention to you. Shulk said something interesting to me once. He thinks you're insensitive when it comes to this kind of thing. He can talk. The only girl he's ever talked to is Fiora. I'm almost jealous. I mean, of your male camaraderie. I wonder what it would be like, being a guy, doing guy things. Gado would just be a friend. Even the most ridiculous thing is a serious question to you. It's quite sweet, actually. I guess it's why I like you. What? What am I missing here? I meant, if I were a guy, I might have been able to fight. I could have stayed with Gado in Colony 6 until the end. That's all. I really didn't want to leave without him. Not while Mechon were destroying the entire colony. I'm so sorry, Charlotte. Maybe I should have just kicked up a fuss like a little girl, refused to leave. He always thought the best of me, trusting in me, relying on me. But I was never as strong as he thought. I'm sure letting you go was just as hard for him, but he put his feelings aside for your sake, so you could live on, so you could lead the colony. I know, but I miss him so much. Cheer up, Sharla. Hey, how about this? From now on, I'll work really, really hard, and then maybe one day I'll be the man of your dreams. How long's that gonna take? I can't spend my entire life waiting around. Oh, that's my Sharla, alright. I'll get the biggest. I like you the best when you give me that big old smile of yours. Looks like you're learning fast. Keep those compliments coming. And by the way, Ryan, thank you. So, with those heart-to-hearts done, it's time to do a quest that I think I basically just forgot about. There were a couple of these last episode, and there'll be another couple here. I forgot about it in Venice because it's a weird one. Let's head to the Sororal statues. In Venice, I think the reason I forgot about this one is because it's an odd one. It's a generic quest, but it's not like any other generic quests. It is just from high-end tier refugee, so it's only here after Mechonic's Core. I was at the Silent Obelisk the other day in the thick fog looking for food. While I was there, I came across a terrifyingly ferocious beast. It did not see me because the thick fog obscured its vision, but I can't go out and look for food as long as it's around. Now this is challenge, so it is just a generic quest. Defeat Veteran Yozel at the Silent Obelisk in Satoral Marsh. Great, you'll do it. I'm getting very short of food and I need your help. Can you tell me when you've killed it? Thank you. This, we've actually come across Veteran Yozel before, because it was him and his compatriots, like he's got these various Ferris around with him, and they are really important for... Right, it was like as soon as we'd finished the Mechonic's Core event, we took on these guys because it was to build our first replica Monado. And we just about managed to cheese fighting this green Ferris, which will now not even bother starting a fight with us. Anyway, we need it to be thick fog for a Veteran Yozel to appear, so let's make that happen. There we go. You know when the deep fogs come in as well because the sky goes bluey purpley here rather than kind of more like a black. So Veteran Yozel is here and he's surrounded by a group of green Ferris. You can't fight him without them also joining in the fight, so hey, let's take a full level war swing for a fight. For a spin. Literally for a spin. But this shouldn't be a difficult fight as well. So let's... right, this is the only thing that makes it a bit annoying. Each of these side Ferris have an art which makes you... It basically forces you to focus on them. It's like a lock-on thing. So it just means... You get bounced around quite a lot in this fight, so... but they're such low level compared to us that it's not really going to be a threat. Frankly, very little is going to be a threat because, you know, this is what happens when you've done almost every quest in the game. It's interesting to see as well, though. This episode we will be doing our final side quests, and we aren't at level 99, and we won't be for some time. For the super bosses, I want to be level 99, so I'm actually going to have to grind that out. I did honestly think that having done every quest and never really shied away from enemy fights in this, I would be level 99 by the end, but I'm not. Mildly interesting. Anyway, let's take off these guys off camera. So that defeats Veteran Yozel, but this is a truly unusual, unique, a generic quest in that it doesn't just insta-complete. It actually requires us to return to the unnamed quest giver, which is really... No other generic quest in the game is like this at all. Very odd. Anyway, let's return to him. I think he's only out during the daytime anyway.
What is it?
Is it dead? I'm in your debt. Now I can look for food in safety. Glad we returned for that 2 lines of dialogue. But that completes challenge. Because yeah, we never actually had a challenge, like with all the generic quests when we first came to Satoral Marsh. There was never actually a challenge quest. There you go. Now, what we want to do next is create our final replica Monado, because we're actually ready to. So, we've already got the Demonic Everflame. We got that from Demon King Dragonia, but you can also get it from Avalanche Abassi. That's the level 120 super boss. I wouldn't do that if I were you, because it's insane. But the other 2 things we need, put on the Visualizer Now, Doctor, we need a Mammoth Horn and a Turkin Elder Medal. So let's start with the Mammoth Horn. We've seen mammoths around before, a fair bit. They are in Magna Forest, and they are passive enemies that wander around outside the entrance to Frontier Village. And they are massive lads. But as I say, they will not actually attack you unless you start on them first, which always makes me feel a little bit bad. But they aren't a difficult enemy, as long as you're kind of the right level for them. But yeah, Replica Monado for this one we're doing is definitely the hardest, because basically you need to be able to take on level 99 monsters. Like, the Lakelet Mammoths are not easy to fight, but compared to Demon King Dragonia, which is level 99, which is the easiest possible enemy for getting the Demonic Everflame from, frankly, the Turkin Field Medal, the final part, is the easy one. Anyway, I'll grind one of these out off camera. It's a relatively common drop from these guys, but it's not guaranteed. Ah, we got one immediately. And a Rex chest, which is not a common thing. So, this Turkin Field Medal also brings us to one of the final areas, well, the final area of Bionoslave we haven't actually explored. Let's head to the Zax Guidepost. And we have been down here very briefly in order to fight Leg Tokelos that were up to the right there. I keep calling them Toikelos, but they're not, they're called Tokelos. This place we're going to along here, there are two ways to get to it. You can either get, basically, if you look at the if you look at the map, you can see it connects around the side from Windy Cave and all those bits onto Spiral Valley. So you can either drop down Spiral Valley and hook around that way, or you can do what we're doing and come from Zax Guidepost here. Both ways is a bit of an annoying walk from a landmark on either way, but when you get there, you will find Field Altrich. He's a unique monster and the only source of the Turkin Field Medal, or Elder Medal, or whatever it's called. But I believe it's a guaranteed drop from him. Oh, this really brings me back to fighting hordes and hordes of Turkin in the Turkin headquarters. They're one of very few enemies which can do a Dark Chain attack on you, but I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest, because frankly, even he is not particularly high level. So you can get this one really early, but obviously the Demonic Everflame is the fundamental rate-limiting step on how fast you can do Replica Monado 4. Let's finish this guy off. Well, we did him in successfully. Oh no, we can't pick up his stuff because there's still some level 19 Turkins to kick 7 shades of shit out of first. Oh, Shulk did a cyclone which murdered them instantly. There we go. Turkin Field Medal, wonderful. Turkin Elder Medal even it's called. So, I'm actually not going to go and cash this in just yet because I said we'll be going to a new location. We haven't been here yet, but there's actually a literal location round the corner, which should also fill in the map for this area. So notice the map has still got some chunks missing out of it. So let's grab this final location. And it's quite a cool one here, that you see this waterfall falling from above you and falling down below you into nothingness. This is the Crevasse Waterfall. Very appropriately named, even if that is a bit of a brutal hexagon. Getting real Area Zero from Scarlet and Violet vibes from this. But that should be... The fuck location are we missing in Gower Plain? I'm genuinely going to have to look this up now. You know what? I'm not going to do that today, because I'm going to do an episode where I do full cleanup of all non-quest related content, and amongst other things, that's going to involve every location and unlocking every map. Let's head to Vanea on Junks and get our final Replica Monado. Spoiler alert, it's not great. So, she finishes, and the Monado Dogma offers a higher critical hit rate. The thin materials used increase the blade output. The high critical hit rate comes at a cost of lower defense. So, it's nice to have crossed off all of the Replica Monados, but it annoys me how 3 out of 5 of them are either not very usable or so difficult to get that they're not even worth it. Basically, Abyss is kind of the only one that's worth it. Abyss and Agni are the 2 good ones. Monado Dogma, it does look kind of cool, is what I'll give them. It is the coolest looking one. I love that colour scheme on it. I like how it looks like the original Monado a bit, and this kind of fade along it, and the shape of the blade generally, and the way it opens up like that, looks really cool. Unfortunately, because is it the Saga that also has that same shape? Yeah, but kind of bluey-green. Both of those ones look really cool. Unfortunately, these are the 2-slotted ones, which aren't particularly very useful. Because if we compare the Dogma to the Abyss, which is the kind of other similar one, the Abyss has higher auto-attack max, same auto-attack min, greater defense, greater ether defense, greater block rate, and just a slightly lower critical rate. And that's it. The critical rate on the Dogma is just not good enough to justify, A, using it rather than the Abyss generally, but also with the additional lack of a slot, it's not good, unfortunately, which is a real shame. And it's annoying that even when you've completed the game, you can't change the appearance of the Monado. But apparently you can in the DLC, so hey, we can actually see some of those ones used a little bit as well as the new Monado that they have designed for the DLC. And the Monado 3, all as the one that you get, Shulk's Monado that you get from the fight with Zanza, so there's a lot of cool stuff to look forward to there. 2 more quests to do this episode. First off, this one is probably, other than some of the surprise quests in the Central Factory, Roof Battle being the main one that you have to physically get to where they are for them to trigger, this is probably the most missable quest in Xenoblade Chronicles. Because where is it? You look at the map, and you can look at this map any time of day, and you will not see this quest. It does not have a quest marker that goes with it. You can physically walk into this lab. And you have this examine here. Shulk wouldn't want me touching it. And you might just think, that is it. You can only get this quest if you have Shulk in the party and you come and you interact with this little cart, and then it says, it's been a long time since I came back here. I used to make weapons for Ryan every night. Those were the days. I know. Maybe I'll be even better at making weapons than before. I've got more battle experience and seen many different weapons. I should be able to make the perfect weapon now. This is a token of friendship. Holy shit, we just got everything. Wow, stunning. So we need 3 Gogol horns. We've been killing a lot of Gogols, that's fine. 3 thick Rana hides. I knew we had those because there's 5 Ranas that you fight in Getting to Know Dorothy, the weird frogman under the bridge. If you don't have those, then you have to get them from Aerith Sea. They spawn like 1 at a time in these areas that are really hard to warp to, so it's really time consuming. And aged Chilkin hairs. Chilkins, guess I've been killing them too. So with that done, we can create a weapon for Ryan. It's not great. That's all the materials I need. I'd better get started. I've done it. I've made the best weapon ever. I hope Ryan likes it. And that completes a token of friendship. Very missable one, and its reward, the Vanguard Driver. We've been getting those for about 10 or 11 levels at this stage. I think yeah, Ryan's already using one, so I'm going to make Ryan the best weapon ever, and replicates what the man is literally already using. And why am I not using that atomic driver? That's basically better in every way, other than the slots. Oh, that Topple Plus, that must be what's been doing a lot of... I felt like topple locking has been particularly good with Ryan. Ryan. Let's put the atomic driver on, and we want aggro up, and we want that topple up on again, because that's, frankly, brilliant. Is it topple plus or topple up? It's topple plus. Yeah, because topple up makes you deal more damage to topple, but topple plus extends topple duration by 50% is spicy. With that, we got one more to do. You might be able to guess what this is. Because A, I'm putting Ricky in the lead, and B, who is the only person yet to have not got their final skill tree? Hint. It might be the little bastard. Also, can we take a moment to appreciate Ricky's armor? He's got... Oh, what the fuck? There you go. He's got like a hobby horse on his head, which has physics as he runs. It goes wub, 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 like that. And his little weapons holder on his back is a little demon teddy bear thing. It's adorable. I love this man and everything about him. Well, he's not a man, he's a Nopon, but I love everything about my little Pon. This final one takes us to Magna Forest. We've kind of had access to this for a while, but it's a bit of a brutal one because it requires a really high-level fight. It's up there with Battling Brutes, Fiora's one for... It's annoying that you will have... In order to get to the level where you can physically do these quests, you will have presumably beaten almost every quest in the game, so it makes these final skills just a bit harder to get, because frankly, how are you going to level the skill up? I mean, I'm going to talk about that in a future episode, but there we go. We need to meet the Nopon Sage, so let's head out to the kind of midpoint here. So here you are at last, our Heropon, but you are not yet true Heropon. Oh, Ricky real Heropon for this year. Of that, I am aware. That means you are merely this year's Heropon and not a true Heropon. What difference? There is only one Heropon of whom I have ever approved. You, Ricky, would be the second. Oh, Ricky really that good? If you pass the final test. What did Ricky have to do for last test? An opponent against which I fought long ago. It is called Unreliable Xeno. Defeat this foe and show me your courage. So, in Great Magna Falls, defeat Unreliable Xeno. He dwells in a small island below here. The fight between us was long and fierce. You must be well prepared. I will remain here and enjoy the performance. Indeed, it is down there on that little island, so let's go. Is it actually faster for me to swim from the... Yeah, it must be faster from the Divine Sanctuary, I'm guessing. This one's kind of annoying, just because it becomes available immediately after Mechonis Core, but... Unreliable Xeno is so high level that you pretty much can't do this until way after you can technically have access to it, which is frustrating, because it would be really nice to... Basically, it's annoying. What I always wanted is you get your 3 main skills, which you pretty much level up by the time you get to about when you get Fiora back. Let's ignore Fiora for this. You've generally done most of it there. Then the idea that would be, like, you know, by Mechonis Core, you can have the 4th skill branches unlocked, definitely, and you kind of fill them as you go up the Mechonis, and you basically have them by the time you get to the top of the Mechonis. And then immediately after Mechonis Core, you should be able to get all the 5th skill branches, and then you can reasonably have them filled by the time you get to the end of the game. I can see why they do it, but one of the things I always find frustrating about this game is the fact that it's not reason like. There's no post-game as such, but there's so many quests which would be unreasonable to do before you beat the game. It would be nicer if the game were a bit more scaled in its final act, to mean that you could do that a bit more. Anyway, I've come here at night, and Unreliable Resno only appears during the day. The reason I've done that is because I want to challenge him from the island itself, and be able to get proper Battlestart affinity with him. There he is. Because the problem is, if he'll attack you while you're swimming onto the island, and that's real balls. So, come to the edge. Let's start this fight with him. I believe, I've never done it myself, but I believe there is a way to cheese this fight by getting him stuck behind a rock, and then you can just kind of peek out, do some attacks, and then you can, if you get visions for his attacks, you can break those visions by hiding behind rocks and whatnot. He is not a particularly difficult boss, and we are pretty highly leveled at the moment, so I'm not... Oh shit, I put Sneaky on instead of Bitey Bitey. Well, I'll do that anyway. This guy, I believe, is untoppleable. Can't be sure, but most enemies that look vaguely flying tend to be impossible to topple. But again, I don't think he's going to be a challenge. He's also one of the sources of the heart... I keep calling it the heart of the ocean. The ocean elixir of life that we needed for Colony 5 reconstruction. Colony 6 reconstruction. But frankly, you're not likely to get it from him. Let's say sorry for a first hit. Let's sword drive for a second. Let's backslash for a third. Should have Shulkin Ryan the other way around, but there we go. Sneaky for a fourth. War swing for a fifth. That was a very inefficient chain attack. I used a lot of the arts in the wrong positions there, but there we go. Right, speed her on unless anything interesting happens. And there he goes. Ooh, Master Hunter. That's probably kill a certain number of unique monsters. I don't think we've done everyone in the game by quite some stretch of the imagination, nor am I intending to do that. But with that done, let's return to the Nopon Sage. Truly amazing! You actually managed to defeat it! In face of such heroism, I have no choice but to approve of you. Ricky, you are a true Heropon. Only the second true Heropon in Nopon history. Oh, Ricky number 2! Ricky number 2! Ricky, you got a question for Nopon Sage. Who was first Heropon? I thought you would never ask. It was me! I single-handedly defeated Unreliable Resno. Nopon Sage was lonely, Nopon. How dare you say such a thing? There is an even more important matter. Your heroism has won your approval. I grant you my treasure. Treasure it as it is a gift from me. Yeah, finally got treasure! So, we get the Meteor Nibbler, which is not great. But we also get Ricky's Heroism skill branch, which has some interesting stuff in it. It improves his critical hit rates. Heavyweight armor. By now you've almost certainly linked that off someone else, but there you go. Greatly increase your strength by 50. It's actually really good and great to link onto others. Kissy Kissy can't be linked because it's a diamond, but halves the party gauge usage when reviving allies. This is really useful. Annoyingly, it has to be Ricky who uses it though. Ouchies is spike damage, just increases any spike damage by 25%, and resistance to all debuffs by 30% for Cuddly Hero is pretty good. So, Future Doctor. Cut this if I turn out to be talking shit, but bring up the visualizer. We should have completed every single quest in the game. That we can do. Obviously, there's some mutually exclusive ones we couldn't necessarily, as in the ones that were like mutually exclusive before and after Mechonis Core and whatnot, like, you know, investigating Satoral and Talia's research or whatever. But while I'm talking, Doctor, just move around the visualizer just to show off how cool it is to see that completed. Every single side quest. And it only took 111 episodes and pretty much as many hours. So what's next? 3 more episodes of this series planned. Next episode is going to be a hell of a ride. That's going to be the 5 super bosses. Don't know how long that'll take. I've actually never beaten any of them other than one, but that's because I've never tried any of them other than the final Marcus, so we'll just have to find out how that is. Off camera between now and then, I'm going to grind a lot of gems out, a lot of equipment, and get everyone to max level, so that'll take a while anyway. Super Bosses episode. Following that, Heart to Heart episode. We'll go through every remaining Heart to Heart. I expect my grinding will basically bring everyone to max affinity anyway. And then finally, the cleanup episode, in which I will cover the following things. Maps. Getting every map filled in with every location, which I think I basically have done anyway. I will talk through a lot of the achievements. I won't show them all off because some of them I'm not going to sit there just grinding out chain attacks to get the 10,000 chain attacks one or whatever it is. But I'll talk through all of them. Collectopedia, we've actually done almost all the Collectopedia. We just have, I think we're missing, weirdly, one Sword Valley one, so we'll just have to find that wherever it is, and the other Collectopedia. I'll show you the rest of those. Time Attack. There's 2 more Time Attack challenges to do, both of which we are now capable of doing. And I'll talk about New Game Plus. The game briefly hinted at that, but I'll just kind of show that off a little bit. And that will be it. At that point, I'm also going to just talk briefly about statistics of the Let's Play. You know, because there's some interesting ones about... This is by a huge margin, my largest series. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, the total length of recorded episodes versus actual episodes, size of things. How long I've been working on it? 1.5 years, I think. Wow. I think I started recording in February 22. I was definitely well into planning that October. I'd always been vaguely thinking about Xenoblade, but the proper planning started 4 or 5 months before even the first recording did. It's been a ride. Anyway, I'm rambling because I think this might have been a shorter episode. I don't know. I've been finding it really difficult to judge these ones that are full of side quests anyway. But either way, hope you'll join me next time for the super bosses. It'll be a ride. Thank you very much, and good day. It's ticked its last talk. It's a really rare kind of watch. I'm sorry, Charlotte. I don't know if I can fix this. Are you sure? I thought you were good at repairing stuff. Kind of, but not that good. Hold on a second. There might be one way. If we had an ether battery, maybe... Leave it to me. I'll find one. Will you fix it for me then? It's a family heirloom, you see. My father gave it to me, and I'd be heartbroken if you couldn't. Sounds like a big deal to you, so I'll do everything I can. With any luck, you'll get your watch back. Oh, thank you, Shulk. I knew you wouldn't let me down. It's kind of dirty. In fact, the face is all cracked, and you can't even see the time. Oi, careful what you say. It's not a piece of junk. Sorry, Charla. What's it doing here, though? Well, when we ran from the colony, I must have dropped it. Otharon probably picked it up. You know, this thing looks kind of expensive. Was it a present from someone? Yes, my father gave it to me before he passed away. I'm sorry. It must mean a lot to you. It's all I have to remember him by. Luckily, you found it. It's just a shame it's not working. A big shame, but at least I've got it back. Wait, if I had an ether battery, I think I might be able to fix it. You could? Don't joke with me. Can you really fix it? You can't get them anywhere. Can't just get them anywhere, but that's really all I need. If you want it fixed, leave it to me. Wow, I can't thank you enough, Shulk. I'm sure it'll make Juju happy as well. You should sell it. I bet you'd make a fortune. Let me be clear, Shulk. I could never, ever sell this watch. I didn't mean to offend you. This watch was given to me by my dying father. It's very important to me. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have suggested that if I'd realised. It's fine, forget it. It probably can't be fixed anyway. Hold on, I reckon I can fix it. All I need is an ether battery. Really? You can fix this? Just leave it to me, Charla. Back in Colony 9, I was the best repairman around. Then I'll leave it in your capable hands. Thanks, Shulk. Like fighting alongside Gaddo. I know I can't change the past, whatever I say or do, but when everyone fled the colony during the attack, I was so angry. I wanted to be by his side and fight to the end with him. One good thing came out of it all. You met us. Me and Shulk couldn't have got far without you, Charla. We really needed you. And those people at the camp, I saw how they needed you too. Ryan, Wait, I've got it all wrong. There's no needed about it. We need you more than ever. You and your healing abilities are a vital part of our team. That heal bullet of yours has saved my bacon more than once. Thanks, it's nice to feel needed. And you're right, I have an important role to play. One that I couldn't have fulfilled if I'd stayed and fought. Thank you, Ryan. You have an amazing calming effect on me, you know that? That's funny, I'd say the same about you. Just remember, you can't rely on me forever. Someday you'll have to learn how to fight properly. You know, without taking so many knocks on the head. Ha! No promises, but I'll give it my best shot. Must have been tough. Not really, it wasn't that bad. I just kept my eyes on the prize. Otharon used to give me a pretty good reward whenever I finished. Oh yeah? What'd he give you? A small ether crystal shard. Not big enough to give out any energy of its own, but when I had enough of them, I'd combine them to make a cartridge. You could do that back then. Wow, that's some talent. When Shulk asked me to do a gem crafting, he ends up hating me. Colony 6 relies on its ether mining. We grew up with it, so using ether and manipulating it to make things comes naturally. Thinking about it, it brings back so many memories. I collected crystal shards of all different colours. Then I tried mixing them together. I thought I might be able to make an entirely new colour of crystal. I combined things like electric, wind and water. Yeah, things like that. If you mix yellow and blue paint, you get green, right? I figured it had to be the same for ether crystals, so I tried it out. Did you get it to work? I had a go at doing something like that once, taking bits of different crystals and mixing them all up. Then Shulk started shouting at me for wasting all our good crystals, so I just kind of gave up. I guess it's different in Colony 9. You don't have a limitless supply of crystals like we do. Me, Ghetto, and Juju used to experiment all the time, but if the colour is different, forget it. All you get is a pile of soot. Funny, isn't it? A small difference and things don't mix well. Like men and women. Where did that come from? We were talking about ether crystals. It's this place. I just can't help thinking about certain things. I learned so much from Ghetto about rifles, cartridges, fighting. If only I could turn back time. Don't be so down on yourself. All that frowning is going to give you wrinkles. Not the nicest way to put it, but I can see what you're getting at. Sorry, Ryan, I guess I'm just not really acting like myself. But talking to you like this makes me feel calm somehow. I don't even know what you're supposed to be apologising for, but whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Now, how about we try mixing up some different colour ether crystals? We could be the first people ever to make a new colour. Maybe now's not quite the right time for that, but one day I'll teach you all there is to know about ether crystals. You have to handle them with care, like a woman's heart. Ouch, I can tell I get the feeling this stuff's never going to be my forte. Wind crystals and glow moss? What? What does glow moss have to do with anything? I just figured because of the colour. Glow moss is green and wind type ether crystals are green too, right? Ryan, even if that made the slightest bit of sense, I was talking about combining different colours, remember? But you have got me wondering what would happen. Then let's give it a go. You and me could get interesting. Ghetto used to experiment with these things as well. Him and Atheron tried all sorts of things while making cartridges. He used to get so mad whenever whatever he was trying failed. He taught me all of this, using rifles, constructing cartridges. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to remind you. I just thought it might be cool to hang out and combine crystals. Oh, stop it, Ryan. You don't have to tiptoe around me. I just don't want to upset you is all. Just keep being you, Ryan. Now let's go find some glow moss. So we're going to try out my idea? Nice. Trust me, we're going to make the best ether crystal ever. Even that old geezer Atheron will be impressed.